Hello, everyone. This is the second episode on the podcast series, The Computational Linguist. In the first episode, I spoke about what NLP is and what its uses are. In this episode, I'll be talking in depth about present day applications of natural language processing. I'll be talking about specifically what each one does and go over some use cases. So, welcome to the second episode of The Computational Linguist. So first up, we have something called as text classification. It's quite intuitive to understand its meaning. It classifies text. So it means classifying text given to the system into one or more categories. And what are these categories, you may ask? They can be anything. All of it depends on what the business goals are. For example, one area where text classification is used would be readability assessment. Readability assessment is where you need to know who can read your content. Can a fifth grader understand it? Is something suitable for your target audience? Who exactly is your target audience if you are a writer? All of these questions are answered by readability assessment. It is a useful assessment that gives out something called a readability index, which is a score basically that tells you all that I mentioned earlier, like who can read this, who can understand something, etc. So there exist many methods to get the readability index. One of them would be forecast readability formula, which isn't aimed at students and children, but at people getting into the military. It is a formula that focuses on functional literacy and is used to evaluate adult questionnaires and multiple choice tests, and also job materials that aren't in a narrative form. Then there is another one called the SPASH readability formula, which is a test for writing in English aimed at children up to fourth grade. This formula is quite different from the forecast formula, as the tests are intended for different groups of people differing in ages. Then there is the Dale-Chal formula used to calculate the US grade level of a text sample, which is based on sentence length and the number of hard words. And this test is intended for children about fourth grade and also grown up adults. There are many more such readability formulas like the Gunning-Fogg formula, McLaughlin's SMOG formula, and Flesch scores, etc. Maybe we can cover it all in depth in a later episode. Alright, so coming back to text classification, another major area where it finds its use would be opinion mining, also known as sentiment analysis. It is all about knowing the attitude of a speaker or writer with respect to a particular idea, topic, or discussion, and also about the emotional reactions given to them. Alright. There are many applications to this, but the top few are like this. So you can find out the popularity of an event which has happened, and then you can analyze the many reviews of a product, be it on Amazon, Google, or any other reviews. So this also helps businesses know the social sentiment of their brand. So be it their product or a service, it helps businesses a lot, and also helps businesses quantify the perception of potential customers regarding anything. So it also helps in getting to know sentiment data of other companies to tackle market competition. It helps in determining whether an article is neutral, positive, or negative. And also, you can forecast market movement based on news and social media sentiment once you apply NLP techniques. So, sentiment analysis is a useful process for many business giants like Amazon, Google, Facebook, etc., who want to sift through tons of data to know where they can be better at their products and services, what the customers find appealing, and what they don't. So be careful when you write something on Twitter, as it helps someone gauge the sentiment on a particular cause. So the next application of NLP under text classification would be language identification. This one is pretty much straightforward. It is used to determine which language a piece of text belongs to. and is quite helpful in analyzing multilingual documents and speech, where people can write or speak in various languages all in the same place. And we segregate the portions of such texts into various subtexts, grouped by language, of course. It is what goes on in your browser when it asks you if you would like to translate a particular page to English when you land on such pages. How does it know which language the page is written in? So, the answer to that is language identification. It can also be used to find out fast how many pages on the internet are written in English, Spanish, Russian, etc. And this distribution is helpful for various studies and businesses as well. So there are many more subclasses under text classification, like information retrieval, spam filtering, which is all about removing spam emails from your inbox. And all of these form a number of uses. So I won't be able to go into them right now. So maybe a future video I'll be able to cover all this. So let's get to the next major use of NLP, and that would be machine translation. So machine translation, this is a great field with so much work left to be done, no matter how many years pass, because machine translation has been a great field for NLP to find work, and it'll only keep increasing as there is a ton of problems that need to be solved to achieve near perfect translations across languages. In quite a few domains, machine translation still requires a lot of improvement, such as finance, healthcare, and entertainment, especially in situations where the exact words don't exist in other languages and they require replacements. Machine translations takes a lot of natural language processing, because it is not about replacing words across languages, but it is about conveying the meaning exactly as it was meant to be. Maybe one day we wouldn't need to worry about such problems. Maybe in the long future ahead. One day. So the next field we are going to talk about, which I'm going to talk about, is speech recognition. Speech recognition is quite hot right now, being used in Alexa, Siri, Google Homes, and whatnot. Speech recognition is nothing but recognizing what I'm trying to tell the computer or a robot and making sense of it all. Its applications are everywhere, starting with hands-free computing, automation of operator services, dialing by voice, writing articles or messages using speech, and most importantly in healthcare for medical transcription. So what is it? A lot of medical documentation goes on using voice of doctors, and to convert it into text requires a great deal of effort. Similarly, a lot of devices can now take voice commands thanks to great advances in the field of speech recognition. Of course, there is much more to be done. The next field is question answering systems, which do exactly that. These systems basically answer all of your questions, and doing this is a big deal indeed. You can ask questions which can be answered specifically from documents of your choice. For example, a collection of blogs, a set of Wikipedia pages, a set of web pages, a collection of reference texts. So IBM's Watson is regarded as a great question answering system. So check it out. There's something called NER also, which is another use of NLP, another area under NLP, which means named entity recognition. So it is named entity recognition. It's all about classification of named entities into different groups. So using neural networks, these NER systems are built, and they classify words like James Bond, Indian Ocean, Lufthansa, Google, etc. into their respective categories. Like James Bond is a person, Indian Ocean is a location, Lufthansa is an airlines company, and Google is a tech company. So NER is quite useful in making sense of what is being said in a piece of text, and also to gather key information from a document. There are many other applications of NLP that I haven't spoken of here, like parts of speech tagging that is used to know which word is a noun, which is an adjective, which one is a proposition, etc. And there is also something called document summarization, which is all about generating a summary or a report from a given text document. So I'll have to leave these topics for now, folks, as I'm running out of time. But hey, we'll be talking about all these as we go along in our episodes. So I hope you got a good insight into the applications of NLP in the present day with this episode, and hopefully it is as exciting enough for you to explore. I hope you do because I've already started to, and I can't wait to discuss stuff and build amazing systems with you guys someday. So keep exploring and stay tuned. So, next up, I'll be talking about some NLP theory, starting with something called a corpus, which is the first resource for doing any sort of NLP work. So, stay tuned to the Computational Linguist, and thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is Rocky DeRaze signing off.